100.3 Philly's R&B station, Ashmac here, and we're giving you information you need to know. Of course, we're making sure to have the pulse of the community, but what good is that if we're not giving you the resources and the way that you need it? That's exactly why we're talking to Miss Assata Thomas. I want to say Executive Director, Division of Reentry with the Office of Public Safety. Thank you so much for making time to come in today.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Yes, I mean, thank you for making time because you just came from a ribbon cutting.
We sure did.
Yes.
We sure did.
So first, let's talk about that. What was the ribbon cutting about for your second neighborhood resource center?
Yes. So second neighborhood resource center. Neighborhood resource centers were built to provide services to persons who have been impacted right in their community.
Gotcha.
Specifically to be able to report virtually to their parole or probation officer. So we partner with APPD, and persons are able to virtually connect. So there's a soundproof booth.
Okay.
So after the connection, though, we also offer case management, workforce development, same-day work and pay. So whatever one would need to thrive when coming home from incarceration or having been impacted. So we're so excited. Again, we're still on a high that happened this morning, the ribbon cutting with the mayor and the chief public safety director that happened today. So really excited about how we're building in the community so that the resources are accessible and real. Yeah.
So I would say, what was the turning point that you saw the need to create the first one, which led to the opportunity for the second one?
I would love to take credit for the idea of it, but it wasn't mine. It was someone else's. But I got the opportunity to implement it. And so when I came along in 2022 to the department, I made some tweaks.
Okay.
About this is how I think it should look. This is what I envision. And thankfully, we were able to build it out just that way. And so the first one came last year, and then the second this year.
Absolutely. For someone that isn't aware of the process, or I would say even the struggles that are associated with, you know, job reentry or reentry period, because you got to get to reentry before you're even thinking about jobs or where you're going or where you're living and how that process is. How can you explain to someone that doesn't know those steps at all and how you're able to provide the services with this?
Absolutely. That's a wonderful question. And so when a person is coming home, specifically, let's talk about that demographic.
Sure.
There are so many barriers that one has to overcome in order to be able to successfully reenter.
Sure.
And so we're thinking about mental health, physical health, homelessness, substance abuse sometimes is an issue. There are a myriad of barriers that one faces. And so what my office does is we think about all of those barriers and how they show up. We talk about holistic well-being, holistic
I love that.
care.
Yeah.
And so that means we have to deal with the entire person. Now, our office doesn't do everything, but we have the ability to warm hand off to other reentry organizations who do that.
Gotcha.
Thankfully, we oversee the Philadelphia Reentry Coalition, which is over 200 organizations that do the work.
Oh, wow.
And so we're able to hand off what one doesn't do, someone else does.
Gotcha.
And so when a person is impacted and they're coming home, we have to think about sustainable, real support. Because most people say they got to get a job, they got to get a job. That's vitally important.
Sure.
We agree. But if we're not dealing with the other factors, mitigating factors of do they live somewhere? Because the likelihood of someone showing up at a job is not sustainable if they're street homeless, if they're sleeping from couch to couch.
Yeah.
And so we think about all of those barriers to be able to fully support someone coming home.
Yeah.
And then we make sure that we're case management specifically.
Okay.
It's not broad brush. It's what do you need? What does this person need? And allow them to be a part of their own plan.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I love that you mentioned, of course, it's the case management literally by the person.
Yes.
And the holistic healing of the transformation that has to happen, right?
Yes.
Because you think about the struggles everybody goes through on a daily basis. You add another factor of, okay, I was incarcerated. I'm making the adjustment back to what society is today, and you're factoring all the struggles that a regular person deals with anyway. You know, when it comes to those case management studies that you realize, what is the biggest factor you think is beneficial that's different that you typically isn't even like talked about enough that you're able to provide?
I love that question because I'm so proud of this. I created a curriculum with cognitive behavioral therapy and intervention for our workforce development, which is called Gateway to Success.
Okay.
And what that is a 3-week initiative where a person who is going to a different training or job, they have to go through this Gateway to Success. But this Gateway to Success is embedded with cognitive behavioral therapy and intervention.
Sure.
It's taught by a licensed clinical social worker, not just a teacher.
Sure.
And so he or she, but this time it happens to be a she,
Okay.
is able to really understand the dynamics, the trauma, that cognitive piece that is necessary for one to be sustainable. Because frankly, we can get anybody a job. That's low-hanging fruit.
Sure.
Right?
But can you keep it once you get it?
That's exactly correct. How are we teaching? We do the feelings wheel, and it is so important. And people and they're like, "What is a feelings wheel? How do you?" And so they check in. How are you feeling today?
Sure.
Because we understand that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Absolutely.
And so that's how we show up in spaces, that we care about you as a person. How are you feeling today?
Absolutely.
And that is one of the things that I'm most proud of, that we know that once a person has this extra layer of support, not just because you see a person presented in front of you that's grown.
Sure.
Yes, but they've also had this trauma of being impacted.
Sure.
So we need to make sure that we're dealing with those traumas.
Absolutely. What can you say are 3 great practices anyone, regardless of where you are, within where you live or where you currently don't live, or your job, or maybe you don't have a job, whatever your experience is right now in this moment, what's a great way to exercise being more mindful, or using the cognitive methods to really check in with yourself?
That's a great question. So I would say, first, always offer yourself grace. Extend that to yourself. What you don't know, ask, and understand that what you need is available. You have to find it. It's available. And so our office, for example, is a resource, and there's so many others. But what you need is available. And you're not the only person, and you're not the first person.
Right. You're not the only person. You're not the first person. I think that's absolutely important, because a lot of times people feel siloed in their struggles, or feel like, oh, why am I experiencing this, and not realizing there's how many other people and how many other communities that can help you to rebuild or build you back up for that.
Yes.
All right. Come on now. I love this. Now, with all of that being said, you have tons of events that are coming up. Oh my gosh.
We do.
Where do we even begin? Let's begin at what's next, which is this one, your free record clearing clinic, which is April 18th. We do have that coming up. Yeah, that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., which looks amazing. Then after that, you have your resource fair on April 22nd. Let me hold this up.
Yes.
Okay, we got that. And lastly, we have the 3rd annual Reentry Job Fair and Resource Village. We're talking about building community and creating your village. You can do that here, but of course at all 3 of these events. And that's happening Wednesday, April 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, can you break down just a few things of what people will be able to get from each one of these events?
Absolutely. So at the job, let's start with this one.
Okay.
Yes, at the job resource fair and village, this is at Temple University, and there are plethora of employers who specifically employ persons who have a record, and so you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to get your license restored. There is a new process in place wherein if persons have license issues, they need to be restored and don't have the finances.
Sure.
There was a new law that was passed wherein if they do community service, that could be used. So there's going to be a license restoration process that will be there. You'll be able to utilize that there.
That's dope.
And again, lots and lots of employers. So that's this one, the Job Fair and Resource Village.
Is there a is there an age restriction that's associated with this?
I want to say 17.
Okay.
Yep. To forever.
Understood. Okay. Not a problem. So if you're looking for a new start, a fresh start, or just a completely new career that's waiting on you, come ready, come dressed to impress. I always tell people come through with your resume too, because you never know.
You never know.
You might walk away with a whole new career that you were looking for. So yes, that is the goal.
Yes.
Okay, so we also have your resource fair that's on April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. as well. So that's fire. And is there anything to share that stands out for this, as well as, this is one of my favorite ones, the free record clearing clinic?
Yes.
Because you want a fresh start, this provides the opportunity for that fresh start to get things expunged off of your record. So let's talk a little bit more about the free record clearing event as well.
Yes, so we partner with Pulse and CLS and another Defenders Association to support us in having these record clearing events. And as you said, it is such an opportunity for one to get their record clear.
Sure.
I do want to level set and say it's not an overnight process.
Sure.
It takes sometimes years to get that done, but you start because, as my mother says, the time is going to go by anyway.
That's true,
Right?
Mom. She's
So,
right.
She's always right. So you might as well use that time, start the process. And
Yeah.
in the meantime, you're doing other things to substantiate how you're living, right? And that
Yeah.
comes with the job fair.
Yes.
And so these free record clinics are always a success. So many persons come out, and I encourage you, no matter how old your record is, you most likely are eligible to come and get your record looked at, and they'll tell you then and there on the spot if you can move forward with the clearing.
If I'm trying to come to this event, is there anything I need to bring with me?
Nope, bring yourself.
Okay, so like ID, do I need anything
Oh, of course.
else?
I'm sorry.
Like
Yes,
I need
of course.
those.
Yes,
I need
thought
those
you meant
things.
like all your records. Like, yeah, don't come down there with all that. Yes. Of course, you need to bring your ID.
Okay.
Bring as much information as you can about the charge, where
Okay.
it was, what year. Bring those things.
Okay.
Typically, people know that already.
Sure.
If you have the paperwork behind it, bring that as well, just to
Okay.
have it. But absolutely have your ID and be ready to go and offer that information.
Okay, sounds good. Now, for anyone that's not aware of the Office of Public Safety, outside of these events that we're talking about today, what else does your department provide resources for?
Yes. So my office is a division of Reentry, which is a part of the Office of Public Safety, because there are, I think, 7 other divisions.
Sure.
And so we provide resources. We have face sheets, case management, the workforce development I talked about, which is a gateway to success.
Yes.
We have CDLA. I'm going to use
It
this
was-
as a cheat sheet.
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
We
right
have
here.
CDLA training, box trucks, sprinter van training, phlebotomy certification, barber certification for juveniles, because we have just started a juvenile component to our reentry, which I'm
Okay.
so excited about. I say just started, but it's been like a year.
Okay.
We have circles for parents of incarcerated youth as well, to be able to pour back into the parents as well.
Sure.
Because if we're speaking to the youth are going back into the house, we need to have both. There needs to be level playing
Sure.
ground. And so
Yeah.
we have things for youth as well. And we have additional trainings, HVAC, CDLB, and more, as well as legal services. So
Yeah.
really excited about the work that we're doing.
Ms. Assata, how did you even get into this line of work? Seriously, because some careers I feel like you have to be called to do.
Yes.
You have to also be passionate about it. But, what you do I want to say is a part of the catalyst of change.
Absolutely.
Right? Not just for right now, but the generations to come and the people that you're working with or serving, I'll say, on a daily basis.
Yes.
So what was it for you that said, you know what, I think this is it for me?
Well, that's a great question, because no one goes throughout the childhood and say, I want to be the director
You don't
of
yeah.
reentry. So I have I have a felony conviction. And so this is I was called to do this work, right? Drawn to this work. And so it is not only work that I do, it's my passion. Like, I
Sure.
wake up to this is what I do. And so for me, it was birthed out of my own story.
Sure.
And so that's how I show up, being able to offer empathy because I understand, and being able to provide these services under this wonderful administration that we have, where we are progressing so wonderfully.
Absolutely.
And be able to offer these services. So it wasn't something I, as a childhood, again, well, I want to be reentry. No,
Yeah.
it was as a result of my own story.
Well, thank you for sharing your story.
you.
And thank you for the service and the work that you're committed to doing.
you.
It does take a village, but it also takes the leaders and the change makers that see that, okay, something else needs to be done here.
Yes.
There needs to be change here. There's people like you that advocate for change, but not only talk about it, do it.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. And it's
Thank
a pleasure
you.
and honor meeting you today.
You as well. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. This was awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
is great.
Yes.
So that means you have to come back.
Yes, I got to come back. That's good. I will.
Okay, perfect.
Thank
All right,
you.
get more details over at rmbphilly.com.